Hey, vinyl community and YouTubers everywhere. Do you know where you were October 4th, 1957? I know where I was. Yeah, a lot of Americans, older Americans like me, we can remember where we were the day John F. Kennedy was assassinated, where we were, and what we were doing. Most of you will be old enough to know about 9/11, but I remember where I was October 4th, 1957. That's the day that space age easy listening music was invented. Well, maybe something a little more important happened on October 4th, 1957 than space age pop music. That's the day that Sputnik 1 was launched, and I remember that day. That was a Friday, and I remember the next day that was Saturday, and we had heard about it on Friday. I don't remember, probably at school, but on Saturday, I was helping my dad with some farm stuff, and we were over the grain elevator, very much like this one. And I don't know, maybe 100 feet up in the air, the elevator manager took us up to the top, and he was excited, and he was talking about that Sputnik, and he was up on that elevator the night before because it had a little blinking light, seeing if he could see it come over during the night. And so probably I was about a sophomore in high school then, and there we were in the middle of the day in the middle of farm country, standing on top of a grain elevator, looking up at the sky, seeing if we could see the space age, which had just arrived. Almost a year ago, I did a little quick flip video of my Martin Denny collection, and I never got around to posting it. Thought I'm going to post it, and I was looking at it, and all of a sudden this idea come to me, and I thought, oh, it would be fun. 1957 is when Martin Denny's first album, Exotica, came out. He was the creator of Exotica music, the father of it, and what mostly became called tiki music later. He was born in 1911 and died in 2005, and he had a live performance just about 3 months before he passed away. He was almost probably a virtuoso pianist as a young person, and by the time he was 20 years old, he was traveling South America leading a band. He was a very interesting person, and his group, which was brought over to Hawaii by Don the Beachcombers, he liked it and he stayed. And in his group then was Arthur Lyman. We know about him. Not too long later, he went and founded his own group. Another musician there at Don the Beachcombers, and then later the Hawaiian Village, he went on to co-found the Tijuana Brass with Herb Alpert. So he was a very influential musician, Martin Denny. Carried over into quite a bit of other stuff, and was kind of a phenomenon, just like the space age was. So here's that little quick flip video I did almost a year ago. Here's the first record, 1957, Martin Denny, Exotica. Also in 1957, Exotica number 2 was issued. Here's the next one, 1958. I have these in the order they came out, called Forbidden Island. The exotic sounds of Martin Denny. I like that cover. Primitiva. The next one, Aphrodisia. The Enchanted Sea. I believe this was 1959. I listened to this one last night. This is one I probably bought in the early 60s when I was in Hawaii, and I still have it. And of course, his most famous record of all, Quiet Village. I guess we can say essential you should have. This is a copy I got from my store. They wrote on the sticker, Space Age Easy Listening. And got another copy, and I got another copy someplace else just because the photo on the cover was ever so slightly different. 1961, there was a couple records in between his most famous record, Quiet Village, what he's known for, and this record, Romantica. Taste of Honey, which was a pretty good hit for Martin Denny. Golden Greats, this is 1966, of course, a greatest hits comp. Another 1966, Hawaii Goes a Go-Go, Martin Denny. That's kind of interesting. And my favorite Martin Denny, I have 11 total here, not counting the duplicate, from Maui with Love. This was given to me by Kaiwaza, our friend in Hawaii, and this is a primarily piano solo. And I like these records, but this one completely different and is my favorite. Yeah, most of those records you can get out of the dollar bin, the thrift store, maybe even less, and usually in good condition. That's where I got some of those, but since I got all of those records, I picked up this record, Exotica number 2, also 1957. This one shows the model, Sandy Warner, on the cover. She was used on the first 12 albums he did, using different makeup and so on. The Aphrodisia record, she dyed her hair blonde, and makeup, the people made her look completely different, but I think they did pretty good picking her to be on the cover of a lot of those albums. I've also picked up this one now, Discogs. This one is 1968, but somebody left a comment on Discogs that the only thing Martin Denny contributed to this record was his name on the album cover, and alluded that maybe there were several others like that. This is on the Sunset label, which was a budget offshoot of Liberty, which was his main label, and he was quite popular then, and they could probably sell more records than he could make. I don't know. I listened to it. One of the things that was interesting to me, on the A side, there was a Randy Newman tune, and it's nice to hear a little Martin Denny treatment of Randy Newman. I thought this was a lot of fun, and so I say keep 'em spinning, and let's all have a drink over at the Tiki Bar.